Hello, Professor Albright, fellow classmates. I'm Jerry Biffel, and I'm going to be giving my Week 4 assignment, the retelling of Patrick Henry's Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death, given on March 23rd, 1775, in Richmond, Virginia. For a decade, revolutionary settlements have been brewing in Virginia, and Patrick Henry had always been in the thick of it, stirring the pot. Henry became particularly inflamed by the Stamp Act of 1764, which prompted him to give his so-called treason speech. Spurring the burgesses to pass the Virginia resolves banning the act, tensions between the colonies and the crown continued to build, and in 1775 Massachusetts patriots began making preparations for war. Henry believed that Virginia should follow suit. At a meeting held in St. John's Church in Richmond, Henry presented resolutions to make ready Virginia's defense. Seeking to persuade his fellow delegates of the urgency of his message, he gave a resounding and memorable speech. And that's the speech I'm going to be retelling today. No man thinks more highly than I do of the patriotism as well as abilities of the very worthy gentleman who just addressed the House. But different men often see the same subjects in different light, and therefore I hope it will not be thought disrespectful to those gentlemen if, entertaining as I do opinions of a character very opposite to theirs, I shall speak forth my sentiments freely and without reserve. There is no time for ceremony. The questioning before the House is one of awful moment to this country. For my own part, I consider it as nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery. And in preparation to the magnitude of the subject ought to be the freedom of the debate. It is only in this way that we can hope to arrive at truth and fulfilling the great responsibility which we hold to God and our country. Should I keep back my opinions at such a time, through fear or given offense, I should consider myself as guilty of treason towards my country, and of an act of disloyalty towards the majesty of heaven, which I reserve above all earthly kings. Mr. President, it is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against the painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts. Is this the part of wise men engaged in a great and glorious struggle for liberty? We are disposed to be of the number of who, having eyes, see not, and having ears, hear not, the thing which so nearly concerns their temporal salvation. For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst, and to provide for it. I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that is the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging of the future but by the past, and judging by the past, I wish to know what there has been in the conduct of the British ministry for the last 10 years to justify those hopes with which gentlemen have been pleased to solace themselves and the House. Is it that insidious smile with which our petition has been lately received? Trust it not, sir. It will prove a snare to your feet. Suffer not yourselves to be betrayed with a kiss. Ask yourselves how this gracious reception of our petition comports with the warlike preparations which cover our waters and darken our lands? Are fleets and armies necessary to a work of love and reconciliation? Have we shown ourselves so unwilling to be reconciled that force must be called in to win back our love? Let us not deceive ourselves, sir. We are the implements of war and subjugation. The last arguments to which kings resort. I ask, gentlemen, assign any other possible motive for it. Has Great Britain an enemy in this quarter of the world to call for all this accumulation of navies and armies? No, sir, she has none. They are meant for us. They can be meant for no other. They have sent over to bind and rivet us with chains which the British ministry has been so long forging. And what have we to oppose to them? Shall we try argument? Sir, we have been trying that for the last 10 years. Have we anything new to offer upon the subject? Nothing. We have held the subject up to every light which is capable, but it has been in vain. Shall we resort to entirely and humble supplications? What terms shall we find which we have not already exhausted? Let us not, I beseech you, sir, deceive ourselves. Sir, we have done everything that could be done to avert the storm which is now coming on. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated ourselves before the throne and have implored its interposition to arrest the tyrannical hands of the ministry and parliament. Our petitions have been cited. Our remonstratives have produced additional violence and insult. Our supplications have been disregarded. And we have spurred and contempt from the foot of the throne. In vain after these things may we indulge the fond hope of peace and reconciliation. There is no longer any room for hope if we wish to be free. If we mean to preserve inviolate and all these privileges for which we have been so long contending, if we mean not biasly abandon the noble struggle in which we have been so long engaged, and which we have plead ourselves never to obtain until the glorious object of our contest shall be obtained, we must fight. I repeat it, sir, we must fight. An appeal to arms and to the God of hosts. It is all that is left of us. They tell us, sir, that we are weak, unable to cope with such formidable an adversary. But when shall we be stronger? Will it be next week or the next year? Will it be when we are totally disarmed and when British guards shall be stationed in every house? Shall we gather strength by irresolution and inaction? Shall we acquire the means of effectual resistance by lying supinely on our backs and hugging the divulged phantom of hope until our enemy shall have bound our hands and foot? Sir, we are not weak. If we make a proper use of those means which the God of nature has placed in our power, the millions of people armed in the holy cause of liberty and in such a country as that which we possess are invincible by any force which our enemies can send against us. Besides, sir, we shall not fight our battles alone. There is a just God who provides over the destinies of nations and who will rise up friends to fight our battles for us. The battle, sir, is not to the strong alone. It is not to the vigilant? It is to the vigilant and the active of the brave. Besides, sir, we have no election. If we were base enough to deserve it, it is now too late to retire from the contest. There is no retreat but in submission and slavery. Our chains are forged. Their clanging can be heard on the plains of Boston. The war is inevitable, and let it come. I repeat it, sir, let it come. It is in vain, sir, to exclude the matter. Gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war is actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring our own ears the clashing of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it, gentlemen? Wish? What would they have? Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.